Hey everybody, this is Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine. I'm on my new computer. My mom helped me to get a computer. It's an HP. Um, it's actually 11/11/2022. It's like 3 in the morning. It's like 3 in the morning. My computer says 9 in the morning, but it's actually like 3 in the morning. Um, oh man. So I'm not doing too well. Um, but I can make a longer video than 15 minutes. My hair is just out of sight, way too long, and I'm just not doing good. I mean, it's kind of relative, right? Uh, I have a lot of junk up there. This is my computer that I listen to Dave Case's CD on. My tablet's right there, but this computer can't get on the internet. And like I said, I got my new HP, and I forgot. Like I got help from my mom to get it, and I forgot that I needed to listen to Dave Case's CD, and so I didn't get a CD player. I didn't even think about getting it on the computer. So I'm gonna have to use this one still, and I think I'm gonna have to get a CD drive. I hope everybody's doing okay. I'm just having a lot of trouble because, and I didn't even know. I found out, I've been saying it on videos, and I found out I have like a body area network, and it's really serious for me now. So I've got to just report it. I'm gonna go ahead and just report it. Oh, having more than 15 minutes is great. So I'm gonna kind of just take my time uh, and just kind of talk here. It's very serious. Like the team that is attacking me, there's a lot of chatterbox and automated murder and automated pushing of things. The magnets, it's like they're screwing up the biometrics. I got something big in my sternum, something huge that can like cook my legs. Like it feels like the nerves in my legs and my feet are on fire, and it feels like they're mutilating my legs because it's pumping directed energy down and then back up to my head. And then I know that I have something over here. I've got a couple of spots, right? I've got a couple of spots. I've said this on every video, and I'm like fighting every day for survival. It's targeting, right? Like the external, like if you know, and I'm kind of like coming to this conclusion. Let me just say this. It's very hard for me now. Things have gotten so complicated and complex, and even saying like what my attackers do in detail, I'm a little bit worried about because I don't want to put other targeted individuals in a bind. I'm gonna move this computer because I got so much trash. I got like soups that I've been eating, and I just kind of stack them right there. Um, not taking care of business too well. I'm surviving. I mean, I'm surviving a war, right? But that's not socially acceptable. That's part of the war is this uh, social pressure, right? While you're being murdered, to not say you're being murdered because nobody believes that or some shit like that or whatever kind of crazy thing is going on, right? Um, but I'm surviving every day. It's very serious because I'm changing this, but my attackers are using these biometric devices kind of as a blunt object because I've kind of like changed things up. The mind control is a little bit different. I'm still being mind controlled, but they're using biometrics like inside my body, kind of as a blunt instrument. And then on the chatterbox, and what they say is put into the chatterbox. The dude every day is like, "We need to get rid of him. We need to go ahead and murder him because I haven't gotten help." Right? Like I've gone to doctors and police and everything, and I've tried to get help for the targeting, but I'm not getting help. And so the guy is like, we need to fucking kill him. And some people would be like, well, that's a psyop, right? I hesitate to even say that because I know there's some target individuals that, maybe their situation isn't as serious as mine. I don't want them to worry or for me to inadvertently psyop them, right? As somebody who would not try to do that as a target individual. I gotta just shut up and I gotta just say just report this, because it's getting so complicated. And I really, I'll say this. I was like, man, I'll destroy these biometrics and I'll get back up on my feet and I want to get married and have kids, maybe have kids. I don't know, but I wanted to, reconnect with some people who like I was kind of too sick, and it's just not working. It's like I'm kind of close to. I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm trusting in God, but it feels like they can kill me because they've gotten me pretty close a couple of times. Whatever's in my sternum is so massive, and I can't believe I didn't think of this. I have bleed scars all over my body. I can't believe that I didn't think of this until like 10 years after I started dealing with it, started knowing, right? I kind of think back. I think back to, and it's they're pulsing this one right now. It's like so my chest is like palpitating. So just bear with me. But I think back, like Robert Duncan gave us a lot of great information. Um, but when I heard him the first time, like he was saying, yeah, and there were these target individuals trying to pull teeth out and stuff because they thought that they had been implanted, right? And I remember that at the beginning, and I was like, and so I'd have targeted individuals. I'd be doing the conference calls, and one example, and he like I gotta get in contact with him, but uh, I don't think he'll care. Marcus was like, I've got biometrics in my system, and they're torturing me. And I was like, on the conference call, I was like, poor Marcus. I was like, you don't have. It's more complicated than that. They're sending microwaves to the brain, and they make you think that it's biometrics and stuff like that. Most of the stuff they're doing to me is with It's with stuff that was put into my body. So I'm like, what the fuck? Excuse my excuse my language, but what the fuck? What the fuck is this what's happening to everybody? Because it seems like every doctor, I mean, there was no reason for me to be implanted, and I think that it was actually done, from my birth. Definitely by the time I got to Ochsner, they had put stuff in me, and then 2000, it was 2008 or 2009, the dude just like wired me up. And the deal is why I mentioned Robert Duncan with the teeth is that I don't know. Like my back teeth, I put the magnet over there. Sometimes I'll do like this. I have the hearing aids in, so I don't want to do it with the hearing aids. But I'll put it over to the side and I'll get relief, and also my trachea. So I don't know how I'm wired up in my trachea and teeth or whatever, or my sinus or my left sinus. And that's crazy talk. Like, and that's like, but this is what they did to me. So I'm like, how many targeted individuals are we going? Well, implantation, nobody's getting that done. And then that's exactly what's happening. So what the fuck was Robert Duncan saying when he's the person who has worked on this AI, and he's coming out and telling us that biometrics or implants are fucking nuts? Like, so what the hell was he doing? That really makes me, because Linda, who passed away, who was murdered, Linda Costanza, who was murdered, she always had questions about Robert Duncan. Like, he's told us so much great information, but I'm like, is he unaware of biometrics? Is he unaware of that aspect? And there's some targeted individuals who they don't have biometrics. There's tons of them that don't have biometrics, and then a small percentage have lots of biometrics. Do we all have biometrics? I have no clue. I have no clue. And I saw Amazing Polly talking about something. I think she's targeted, but she was like, it's hard to. Sometimes we have to. And I watch how they do things in society. The not elite, the cabal, the criminals at the top, the globalist criminals. And what they do is they've masked all this genocide and death. And so what people who are experiencing the tyranny or the torture or the attempted murder, it's attempted murder on me. The guy, he's totally like he's not going to get caught. He's a psychopath. Like some of the people on there are psychopaths, and they're not getting caught, and I'm not catching them. They're not receiving any consequences, and they're playing with weapons inside of like my sternum, like pumping it up to my head and through my legs and stuff like that. So it's like mutilation. I'm like, should I back off and just say, well, it's just stimulating my nervous system, and back down on it a little bit to like make myself look less crazy, but it's serious. And there's this chasm of oh, these are just little devices inside of the body or whatever. Or even if maybe people don't have biometrics and they're getting microwave, oh, it's just a little frequency. And they use that thing like, oh, well, we're psyoping him, but then they really bring me to where I feel like I'm going to have a stroke or a seizure, right? So it's like saying that they're psyoping to go ahead and really murder me. So it's very serious. It's very, very serious. I just want to convey that. I don't know how to do it, so I'm just going to have to report like what's happening, because my situation's like overblown with the body area network, and I was really trying to speak for targeted individuals to get us out of this, right? Thinking, and I tell you what, man, I don't know. I think about it and I'm like, I wouldn't have done, I would have, in 2018, I would have quit. I would have gotten offline if I would have known that it was going to just keep going on. Like an open secret that everybody knows, Havana syndrome and everything, but people just don't want to deal with it and want to make it a bigger problem. But one of the things that Amazing Polly was talking about, she was like, it seems self-centered and self-absorbed. So I get on here and I talk about my body area network and like how bad my attackers are torturing me because I don't have any data to go, oh, this is how many people are targeted in society and stuff like that. And so, like, our fight against it and revealing it sometimes has to be anecdotal. Almost all the time has to be anecdotal. And not, I mean, we can get like what's happening in a general way in society, but I see the way that they're playing us here because they condition people to say, well, if you're focusing on yourself, you're a mentally ill, selfish person, but we don't have data to go, this many people are being targeted, and this is what's happening. So, oh God, yeah, right when I started the video, they just pumped this thing. I didn't know how much control they had over me when I was doing those live streams. I was like, they're doing external microwaves. I thought maybe I had one small little implant or something in my body, but I couldn't bring myself to even think about a doctor putting something so serious as weapons in the body that, I mean, it hurts bad and it damages the brain. It's damaging my brain. And they're doing mind control. I've affected it a lot. And I tell you what, if there was one biometric device in my body, it'd be done. Because I put the magnet on there and it stops it, it tones it down, and it weakens the thing. But I got leads all over my body and I got some confusion as to exactly what and where, right? I know in my sternum, I got one big one, but I think I'm looking at like two other ones, and then I've got to move the magnet around. They're playing around with that, like they're psyoping with that. I've said this a million times. But so I've got it. So I'm at like 14 minutes or something like that on this. I don't have to do 15-minute videos. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. And me and my friend Lee were talking about like how they hack into stuff, and he's like looking into how they're hacking into Wi-Fi networks and all that stuff, which I think there's something to that. Right when I got this computer set up, my new computer, they had hacked into it immediately. So it's on the internet. It's on Wi-Fi that they're hacking in. It's not the actual computer, at least my attackers. So they hacked in through the Wi-Fi because they do this thing with my tablet where my tablet will just be sitting there, but they'll do something to move the computer where it'll light back up, right? To show me that they're like hacked into my device. And they immediately did it with my computer when I got it set up. I want to kind of sit back, but I got trash right here. I got all my used vapes and everything like that. Um, so I get relief. Like I can't imagine the target individuals who aren't getting relief or have any defense. I get relief, but it's like if I miss a spot, it can kill me. Like this guy can, like the other day, like big stuff. Like my situation's too big for who I am, for like how I am, a peaceful guy who's just trying to help people. It's massive. It's like they're gonna off me, like they're gonna terminate me because like just the way I think, because it's like, oh, I know what's happening to me. I'm being microwave and I'm figuring stuff out. Like just that, and everyone's being targeted microwave, but they're still offing people to cover up this open secret that everybody knows. It's massively insane, massively insane. Like our country is not free anymore. People are being murdered in their homes. We're sending money to Ukraine and doing all this trash, right? And it follows the blueprints of the Russian Revolution. It's Bolsheviks at the top. They're using other people underneath them, but it's Bolsheviks at the top, and everybody needs to know it, you know. And it's really bad, and it's really bad. They're targeting like everybody who is good in society because that's not supposed to go into the New World Order. We won't just kill and eat our neighbors, so we're not fit to go into the New World or whatever. And I don't know, man. My attacker on here, like he honestly calls me evil. I don't have one single evil thought in my head, but and he kills 24 hours a day and tortures bodies 24 hours a day. And he's evil. But when he says that, I mean, it's psyop, but it seems like he really believes it. Like because he has the will to murder innocent people 24 hours a day and microwave people, he's the good guy. And because like I'm a good person who has emotions, like I'm a fool and evil. Like it seems like everything it's inversion, right? We're in an inverted biology, we're in an inverted civilization, we're in an inversion right now. Good people are being murdered and called terrorists. Terrorists are being put behind equipment, right? So that's what's kind of happening. Um, what else do I want to? I get on these man. Sometimes I can yell at my attackers on V2K, and it sounds so good because I'm just like, it's so raw. But then I get on these videos and I want to present, and I'm like thinking I don't want to get any target individuals hurt by saying certain information, like an example of not like how they're attacking me, but I guess how intense it is worries me because what I was hoping is that my attackers would take there is a discrepancy on it. There's discrepancy on the people doing this to me. There's a disagreement about how to handle this, but I don't want to get into that. Like it could be a psyop. It doesn't sound like it. It doesn't feel like it. It feels like there's disagreements on what to do with me, and I'm like, well, how does that work? How is there a protocol? But I get worried. I get worried because it's so intense. I don't want that to be an example. If somebody else, a targeted individual, is watching my videos, your attackers are on there listening to me say how my attackers are like trying to push me to the edge of death every day. I don't want your attackers to go, well, other people are doing that, right? I get really worried about that. And I think my attacker he's thinking about that because he knows that I speak out, right? So he's like, he's got to be brutal because he doesn't want to back off and put that example like, oh, they're going easy on me. So y'all's attackers, maybe you take that example and don't go so brutally as hardcore on you, right? There's a lot of factors here when you start speaking out and you have teams of people and AI on you and everything like this about how you look and how they look and everything like that. It's really it's hard and with the mind control, torture, brain injuries. I mean, brain injuries where I can still talk, but there's problems. There's some problems going on. It's very intense, the murder and pushing my nervous system and everything. And I really did. I mean, and this is the thing. This is the thing, guys. I mean, it's happening, right? But concretely, there's God. There's a chain of creation. Our creators are pouring strength into me. Our Creator, in the name of Jesus Christ, pouring strength into me. Like when I get a little bit of a leg up, there's divine strength coming through. Still, like even knowing there's a chain of creation that doesn't leave us and they empower us, it's still fucking like murder and depression and so fucking hard to get along. Uh, to survive, to just and the other day, and my speaking is very stilted. But the other day, it's like my mom. They were getting her to text me at a certain time, and I don't even want to say the numbers of the time, but they did. She texted me at some time, and then an hour later at the exact minute, right? And they were showing me that they were in her head. She's done everything right in her life. She raised me to be a good person. She built businesses in the state that we live in, her and my dad, and they are both being like mind controlled. It's like my whole family's being tapped into by contractors. And the scary thing about that, well, it's just everything about it is awful. But my attacker at this point, you know, they have this on Chatterbox, but I feel like he does really feel this way. He's like, I'm tired and I want to get this guy wrapped up. And what's happening is this AI is hooked into our nervous system if you're a targeted individual, and your body has to die. They can't just unhook you from it. And I don't even know if they, you know, I think they've done that for people. They've unhooked them, like if they're, but for me, it's so much money. It's from my birth, so it's millions and millions of dollars in biomedical experimentation, and they just can't let me go. Like they've worked too long on me. So we're facing this. I mean, in my situation, I'm facing this. This guy is like, we've worked too long on him and we've tortured him too long. We've mind controlled him too much. We have to put him away, which he says on the thing, which he means kill me. And then he puts that on Chatterbox, right? And in my, like, from where I'm coming from, I've fought for my life for so many years that I'm not going to give up and I'm not going to die for this retardation. Let me tell you something, guys. We're hardware. And I'm not saying we're machines. As human beings, we are just light years beyond machines, but we're hardware. We're organic hardware, and we've got hardware that picks up. We have like a modem in our brain. We have a modem in our DNA, picks up software, right? We have software that runs through our system, but we have software just like a computer gets data from a modem, right? And so we are unique hardware that took millions of years in couplings through evolution and genetics and everything to show up here. This fucking trash technology is mass produced and they're murdering precious unique brains and precious unique lives and precious unique families. And we are special hardware. And we receive signals. God wants me to say that big time. Like he's putting that on my heart. Just say this. Like I know you're saying all this other stuff because of what's going on, but you need to tell people there is a concrete first step to God. We have been created, and our creators, there's a chain of creation, and they did not leave us. We receive strength and communication and information from them. It's the way that, like, if I didn't have that, if I didn't have that connection to God in the name of Jesus Christ, I'd be crazy or dead. Like, but they pour information, what's happening, and everything like that. It's incredible. It's incredible. And I know that. Like, it's concrete. I couldn't turn away from it even if I tried. But this is still like hell, and I'm like, I could die, and I hate my life. Knowing that there's a God, knowing, like, having concrete communication with this chain of command all the way up. I still am like, I don't want to die. I don't want to say that, but it's like, I don't know how to live, right? I'm surviving every day. I don't know how to live. My mom is like, I told her, I was like, they're murdering me, mom. Like, I don't, I'm trying to function and deal with this in an appropriate manner. They're murdering me because they're not getting caught. And she's just like, she is mind controlled. I asked her to give me money to get out of the country, right? And she helped me buy this computer, but she was like, I'm not going to give you money to move out of the country because we've tried all this stuff before. What's to say that's going to work, right? But it was right after I found out I had all the body area network. I was like, I got to get out of the country to survive. And also because every relationship I try and have or anything like that, the state gets involved and slanders me to people. Like even small relationships where it's just like somebody who like I smile, like they work somewhere and I go to that store a lot, they'll slander me and get them to target me. Like it's very huge. It's just massive. And as I sit here and do nothing, not do nothing, right? I'm trying to live my life. I'm gonna try and do some activism. The guy's gonna he's gonna murder me after this video. Just this video where I'm sitting here and nobody except targeted individuals probably believing he's gonna massively like punish me and try and push my brain like where it felt like I could have an aneurysm like the other day. Um, and I'm not saying this to scare anybody. This is massive warfare. Like I'm being murdered in my home, and I've never done any kind of crimes bigger than smoking weed, and not even in this condo. I feel like even in just admitting that it is like a stupid thing, because it's so small compared to this. Excuse me. See, that's a like I'll burp, and it feels like I have something in my trachea and in my sternum. Like I have a whole, but it's like they're very powerful and they're my digestive system, and they can resonate them up so that it causes like really massive effects to my biological system. And it's just a psychopath who decides it all. And then it's a rape machine that's automated that keeps raping me 24 hours a day. So we're there in America. We're there in every country. Um, I feel like it's an inverted thing. It's like this technology, right? They're mimicking what we already are. You guys need to understand that. You need to understand that God says, tell them this. This is important. These evil people with this technology and the directed energies and connecting to our nervous systems and our brains, we already had that. And I know I've said it on another video, but I want to be very, very, say this a lot. We already had that before the first piece of metal was taken out of the ground to build some kind of tower, microwave tower, anything like that. We were already these hardware. We're hardware. We're not machines, but we're hardware. And we already had modem. We had the pineal gland, DNA, and everything. And our creators had a line of connection to us when we asked for it, right? You got to ask and you got to believe, right? It's so bad. I don't know. Speaking about that while I'm being murdered, I want Jesus Christ to come back. I want our Creator to come back. But from what I'm saying, it's like we're getting the Holy Spirit right now. We're getting the download. A lot of people are getting the download because we're in danger. Like the human species is in danger, and we're getting that download. We got to use that for all it's worth. Because I'm not sure what that plan is. Like I have faith, right, that Jesus Christ is coming back, our Creator's coming back, but they're powering us up right now. We got to use that as much as possible. I have a hard time when I get on these videos. I'm like, I have so much that I want to talk about. It's been about 30 minutes. I figure I'll just do an hour just like talking about what's going on. The midterm elections, no red wave because they're immediately cheating on the elections again. And I think the thing now is it's such an inverted society, right? That it's about accusing. It's like if you see the corruption and you call it out, then you're in trouble. You're the terrorist, right? I'm being murdered by microwave weapons. If I say shit about it, I'm the terrorist. I need to be terminated because I'm gonna like blow this out. Like the people who are doing it are fucking criminals. They're private contractors. These are private businesses that have military clearances. There's treasonous. They cannot murder Americans on American soil. Even if there's a National Defensive Authorization Act or whatever the crap, they're still not governmental agencies. A lot of these contractors doing this. It's treasonous. It's the worst crime ever. Um, so the guy on V2K, it doesn't matter, blah blah. Like it's so horrifying. Like I'm trapped in here. I've got all this shit, right? The computer. My mom would help me with that, but she and my dad are being mind controlled. She's being mind controlled to where it's like they'll do stuff with her where she'll contact me in certain ways. I told y'all about that time. It was like on the hour, the same time, and she's not gang stalking. My mom would never ever do anything like that, but she's done everything right in her life. She deserves for her legacy to live on. But I guess that's like, I mean, they're sterilizing a lot of genetic lines right now. Nobody, like, we're not ready for this stuff. We're not ready for how this is, and it's so much worse than like the Congo or like some kind of like where they're cutting each other's heads off with machetes and there's warlords because it's out of sight, out of mind. I'd say that's the number one tactic of this asymmetrical warfare is to make it small, right? Make it small, and then they do the movies, and we get the false flag warfare, right? Ukraine and Russia, and there are real people dying, but it's like just guns and people buried and stuff like that. Putting that out in front of us, and then the real genocide takes place on a microbial level and on a frequency level of things that are out of sight, out of mind. Because boomers can't handle that. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They attack us. They've pissed away our country and given it away, and now they're going to attack us in these programs because they just trust authority implicitly. They were conditioned to. And the media is just completely covering everything up and lying. The media should be jailed for murder because they're covering up things that we need to know about in society that are killing us, right? Um, I'm gonna put this on my sternum. Oh, I'm like sweating. It's 24-hour a day trying to survive, and my brain still works pretty good, but it's only because of a connection to I wouldn't even call it divine. It's just science we haven't learned yet. How we're connected to our moms and our dads, and then the dad above all, the God above all. But it's a chain of creation. Like something created us, something created it, something created it, something created it, all the way outside of our universe and beyond of what we can imagine. And that's how we communicate with the God above all in the name of Jesus Christ. I feel like, I don't know, I don't want to be blasphemous. I want to make sure, but I feel like I am. I feel like that's going to, it's like I can't help it because it's new, right? But please remember, Christians, that Jesus was a revolutionary. He came to change everything. I'm not saying that I'm Jesus, but we need to look into what Jesus represents. He represents something very, very important, God and man. And when he died, he resurrected and ascended through his Father God, right? And that's a very, very important thing about us. Jesus he showed us through his life what was important about us, is our resurrection. Even in death, even in these things that would maybe kill a normal human being, you evolve and incredible things happen. And I've experienced these things. There's another side to being murdered every day. I don't know how to use it. Like, I don't know how to utilize it in my everyday life and have a successful life and thrive, but I know that it's there. It's there. And this strong line in the middle, it's like I'm being murdered every day. The world has been experimenting on me since the day I was born. That's hard to take, but that is true. I guess I'll say maybe it happened at Ochsner, but I know because these autoimmune diseases. See, this is crazy. This is crazy. I don't know how to say this stuff because it's stuff I know to be true, but no, I don't have evidence, and I don't know what's sick on, but I can't represent the targeted individual community. My situation is so overblown, biometric system in my body. I have to just talk about my situation. It's got to kind of funnel into the target and to all of us. But you got the whole world being hooked up. You got the whole world being hooked up, their minds and their nervous systems. So, a lot of people are going to have to start speaking up about this. They're going to try and cover it up. They're going to try and this is what they're trying to build a God layer. We already have a layer of mystery about who created us and how it all worked and everything like that. Our predators on this earth, Satan, our predator on earth, he's trying to like make it so direct murder would be seen as an act of God, right? It's working. Like they're torturing me in my home and I'm considered mentally ill, right? A lot of targeting. You're hearing me on this. You're being murdered every day. You're being tortured. You're the one. You're the bad. You're pulling the consequences for these motherfuckers murdering you every day, right? Right. And so they're trying to pull this all. And the guy on mine, like he really does feel like a god. He's like, we're just going to put him away because like I'm intelligent. I know about this stuff, and he's like, well, I'll just fuck kill you. He doesn't know anything about what he's doing, but he has the power, right? He has the terrorism power, the killing power, and that's what he uses on me. He doesn't can't win an argument. That just like the Democrats can't win an argument. They're destroying the country, so they have to just lie and cheat, steal, murder, and shit like that. Sorry about all the cussing. Sorry about the hair. I'm gonna have to get a haircut. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just let it grow out. Um, So what I would like to do for my situation, because it's so bad, it's like I can't have relationships or anything like that. The state jumps in. It has unlimited money to fuck my life and to kill me and to have these people butcher me every day because the AI and everything is so important. But I can't go get a job, nor can I have my own thoughts, nor can I live now. And sometimes when they say, oh, let's go ahead and kill them, they don't have enough power to do it because I've had the magnets on the right spots and stuff, and it's toned down. But then sometimes they can push me towards death. It's like the door thing. Oh, and I got something good to tell you all about the door thing. Like if you're having people break into your home, what I started doing, and this stopped all the break-ins, like even putting tape on the door, like across the door, they would just like take it off, and I could tell that they had come in anyway. But what I started doing is I started taking a piece of a little roll, like a little bit of toilet paper, and I put it on the top lock, and I pull the thin one layer of toilet paper over the top lock, and I tape it over that. So if they can't open that top lock, and it's thin toilet paper, so if they try and remove it with the tape there, it'll rip, and I'll know. So it's a really good idea for stopping the break-ins. Um, I don't know, man. I get on these videos and it's different. I wish I could. I'll just tell y'all so maybe I can start trying to do it. When I'm like just sitting here with my attackers on the electronic warfare and they can hear me. I want to talk like that. But when I get on the videos, I'm like, oh, I want to present and stuff, but I'm getting to the point where it's like the murder's so bad. I think that speaking, it's just getting worse and worse, and I don't have anybody to help me. I think that this is the thing, and I don't think it's a psyop, but I know y'all will say, well, I'm not going to go into that. There's some stuff I don't want to go into. It's like I have to watch my mouth while I'm being murdered. These motherfuckers that are murdering us can do whatever the fuck they want, and they're in the shadows. I'm sorry about the cussing, guys. Can y'all hear Dave Case's CD? It's like playing in the background. I should have turned that off. I'm gonna shut that off now. Y'all probably can't hear that. It's so quiet. It's 11:11. Like that's a time a lot of target individuals see a lot. They've been making me see because they're trying to kill me. They've been making me see that. Well, I won't say that. I don't want to say any of the tactics. I don't want y'all's attackers doing them to you. So it may come out just in me explaining this, but I want to try and stay away from specific tactics that they're doing. Explain them in generic, general terms so you know what I'm talking about if somebody's experienced it, but not just not make it so your attackers have another option, right? Uh, I don't know. I don't. I'm just gonna name this video like this is nuts. This is crazy. I'm a tough person, and I've gone through Crohn's disease. Let me say this. This is what I was gonna say earlier. That I was like, you're not. No one's gonna ever believe me on this. Autoimmune diseases, like a lot of them, like Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, they're EMF induced. Like they're not natural. It's not genetic. It's not some kind of new wheat. There was this whole thing when I had Crohn's when I was a kid where I'd talk to people and they'd go, "Oh yeah, yeah, it's because gluten and wheat has like 70 something more chromosomes and our stomachs can't handle it or some kind of bull crap." I had friends with celiac disease that it destroyed their lives. And I look back, like it was working at Dell, and the girl who had celiac disease, she seemed like a target individual looking back. But when I was 10, I had my flare up, right? And that's why I know, and I have to go through the details of everything, but EMF experimentation on me from being born to 10 years old created a flare up of Crohn's disease in my digestive tract. Because I think that they had put, when I was a baby, they had put some kind of biometric device somewhere along my digestive tract. And they were pumping it to get to my brain, right? And I think that my right brain was interesting to them because I have smart parents, I have smart genetics that I come from, and I was really imaginative, and I think that's why they had something in me from birth that was very generic, and it was just like they put it in some babies that are sick, but like because I'm smart from my mom's side and creative from my dad's side, there was this thing that they really wanted to get to, and then I went to Ochsner for some reason. I don't know if my parents were targeted before I got targeted or if they were targeted because of me, but it's hard to take. It's hard to take because this stuff is a surveillance tree. And if they're targeting you, like I worry about my friend who I was a roommate with, I worry about her being targeted because they just target anyone around you. And I feel responsible for that sometimes. Even though I didn't even know about it and it was done to me, I'm like, people got targeted because I was just their friend or I was just in the family. But I don't know if my dad and my mom or my dad got targeted first. Like, there's been a lot of cancer on my dad's side. Like my grandma had this huge tumor in her left shoulder, and that's where I'll put the magnet over there Like I'll put it over here for a while and I'll feel a buzzing in my shoulder. I'm not sure if it's the leads running through the shoulder and down the arm because I feel stimulation down the arm. It's not anything close to mental illness. It's stimulation and mutilation of the body with something that's in there that's running through the body, right? And then I think they have external stuff on me too. So don't everybody who's like, no, a lot of this stuff is done externally, don't freak out. I know that, but the lion's share of mine is the body area network that runs like from here, but it's also both sides of the shoulders and then down my sternum, and then I think over to the left. But they can go down both legs, right? Because they're riding the vagus nerve system. That's what they're riding with directed energy, the vagal nerve system, the vagus nerves. And you have a tree down your body that goes down your arms and your legs. And that's why these people, when you see them, oh God, I saw a dude on this show and he paid $40 to get biometrics put into his hand, like right here, right on both sides. And this is where your vagus nerve goes down your arm. I'll feel a lot of stimulation down here, but then under the back side too. They come from both ways on this arm. On the right side, it's not as bad because they've got most of the biometrics, I think, on the left side, and the vagus nerve is stronger on the left side just naturally anyway. But I saw, excuse me, he got these things involuntarily, so they're gonna make it. They're gonna cover this up, how they're like mutilating and murdering people 24 hours a day with biometrics and external microwaves. I'll just say that. Like I'm unsure. Like, and I don't want to say it because I know how we are in the community where it's like, oh, he's trying to make everybody think this. I'm not trying to make anybody think anything. I don't know. But I'm very, because I didn't know for like, when I found out about the overt targeting, it took me 10 years. I was like, maybe I have a little implant in me, but I never looked at my body. I never knew I had leads in me. And I'm like, is this happening to everybody? Is that why Robert Duncan came out and went, oh, these people who think they have implants? Because that fixed me right there, fixed me in a bad way, where I was like, well, that can't be it. The guy who created some of the AI technology is saying that it can't be implants. So what the fuck was he doing? What the fuck was that? Because it was. Because it was, and some of them maybe in the bottom teeth right here going down. Like I have leads on my shoulders, right? But it could be connected to the bottom teeth when I got my wisdom teeth taken out. Like, and that's like it's saying you have fucking implants in your teeth. It's like, no, no, even targeted individuals are like, that's nuts. It's all done externally, but I'm not so sure. And I can't get a doctor to tell me, like, oh, you know, three, you have three biometric devices, and this is where they're at. If I had that, this would be done because I put the magnets on, but I move them around to some places that are leads, and it's not stopping the pumpers, is what I call them, the pumping biometrics. Now I know I've got one like in my sternum that's like I need to just leave it there and just take the pain of whatever else is going on and then get to that later. But it's hard when they're using some of these upper biometrics or an upper biometric. I have to move it and like I'll move it to my trachea like this and it cools the body all the way down. But I'm not sure if they're just pumping through the vagus nerve in the neck and I'm hitting those leads, right? Crazy stuff. This is nuts. This is nuts. I'll sit here like this. I'll watch movies and stuff like that. I can hold my hands and pray. So I mean, that's what there's a great God, and He is more powerful than this. And what He says into my heart is He says, "Look, I know how bad this is. One day you'll know why. You'll know why." And he says, "You can't know now. You won't know. You won't be able to know now with your humanness that I made you with. You'll always be like, this was a waste. This was a waste of potential. Half of me will find a use for it, right? This happened, so I have to use it. I'm a good person. I'm a survivor. Like I want to help the people. I wanted to help people my whole life, and we're the people that need the most help, targeted individuals. So." My problem now is we've been talking about this for so long and my attackers are like bored and they're like, this is, and it's embarrassing the guy that could murder me at any time. And I want to say that he could have murdered me at any time. This team with these directed energy weapons could have murdered me at any time with what they had in my body, but they were doing it at a certain level when I didn't know that it was biometrics and fooling me into thinking like I had a lot more control than I did. And then when I actually had control more of it, it's like now he's trying to fucking kill me. Um, but he could have killed me at any time. I don't know why he would, why. And it's just like I get this feeling that they're like embarrassed that they're not taking care of their target or whatever. But the dude could have killed me at any time. They have certain parameters. It's like, and he's every day he's like, I'm gonna kill the dude, and then he's pushing the biometrics, and it's not working. Cause like my dad had his brain cut open. My dad like had an aneurysm, had his head cut open. He's still walking around and talking, and he healed up. And so that's what I'm going to do. So this guy is like pushing and saying he's going to kill me, but it's not working. It's just making things kind of darker. And I started to like I'd sometimes I'd make jokes to the V2K to lighten things up because I'm trying to neutralize it and tone everything down. The chatterbox and the AI and the dude on there, they're trying to intensify things to get me screaming, get the gang stalkers, get the money in, and be able to justify murdering me, right? And so I'd make jokes from time to time. They got it so dark to where, like, I think it was like yesterday, I was like making jokes, and it was just like, and it wasn't mind control because they mind control a lot of stuff. Like the mind control is like in the hypnotization on certain thoughts, things will hang on, or they'll even like I'll be making a thought and the AI will jump in before I can make the thought to make me think something else. So that's how bad this mind control is. It ain't good. It ain't an addition. This stupid guy who's getting the things voluntarily, he thinks it's just an addition, and that's how people think of technology and transhumanism. Let me say this. I've said this before. I like this. I'm going to get used to this, being able to not have to do 15 minutes. Right now, it's always a little bit of a learning curve to like get back on, not feeling like ugh, I don't even like I've never been at a loss for words, guys. I've always been able to get up and go, this is what's happening. I've always been precocious, but I have been really because of the mind control, how long it's been going on, what's happening in our society. I was like I can destroy these biometrics. I've made a lot of videos about what's going on. I can maybe destroy these biometrics, get away from these people who are torturing me, and build a life and get a wife and maybe talk about having some children even in this world, like get somewhere, like maybe not this country, but now it's like with my mom, she's mind controlled. She's like, no, I'm not going to help you. She wants me here, and she's very anxious from her mind control. And at least I do, like when I hang out with my mom, it's good, like we connect on other stuff. And so I know that I make her happy that way, kind of. But she's the person in my family of my dad, my aunt, everyone, like all of her cousins and everything, that I think she deserves a child. Like she's a grandchild. She's so smart and so awesome, and I'm just like, this world isn't providing me a track to have a good family and have a job. It's saying you can't get a job, and then some assholes that are not worth anything, like I'm not gonna go. It's hard to talk about these things because the political correctness. Let me tell you about political correctness, guys. That's gonna kill us. It's a Marxist thing. It's Bolshevik communism, and y'all know. Read between the lines when I say Bolshevik, and I don't mean everybody. Let me say this. In white, black, Jewish, Asian, everybody, all of our leaders are corrupt, and the majority of all the people of every kind are good. So let me say that. But there are some people who snuck into a certain group and then got into the elite, global elite, right? And they're using other subgroups, but they stole all of our money. And it's Jewish people, it's people who say they're Jewish people. So when I'm saying that, I ain't talking about 99% of Jewish people in the world. I'm talking about the ones at the top that may not even really be Jews, Jewish. And I'm trying to be very careful. I have so many friends that are Jewish. Like I don't, it's not, I don't discriminate like that. Let me say this: Masons are evil, and they're working for this Bolshevik communism, and they're mostly the ones that aren't Prince Hall. They're all white, like me, right? So let me say that when I say anything, right? Because all of our leaders are evil. Um, there's some leaders coming out. Carrie Lake. And I don't know. I'm making this at like let's see, it's like it's 4:20. It's 4:20. I take some CBD like when I'm feeling really bad. But if Kerry Lake doesn't win, right, they cheated in that election. They're cheating in a lot of them because they have to. Their ideas are bad. They have to cheat, lie, steal, murder, and everything like that. They can't win an argument, you know. And the way that I forget her name, Hobbs, whatever, I think it's Katie Hobbs or whatever. She didn't debate in her primary, and she didn't debate. I hate this piece of hair right here. She didn't debate Carrie Lake, and I'm like, she must have known something. So I don't know if those election results have come in. I think there were so many ballot things that went down and problems with it. I just know she knew the fix was in. Hobbs knew the fix was in. So if Carrie Lake loses, that election was definitely rigged. They're turning things, they're inverting things. So if you call out corruption, you can be blamed, you can be sued, right? They're doing that with the Alex Jones thing. They're doing that with society where they do the crime, and then if you speak out against it or you get mad, you're the terrorist, right? That's obvious, right? From January 6th, from targeted individuals. Just because you know you're being murdered, you're a national security risk, right? You're an innocent American being murdered. They slander you and false flag terrorize you more because you just know you're being murdered. Because they're like, we have the power, we decide at your meat with the National Defense Authorization Act, national security, we've got to experiment on your body. Now you're speaking out about it. Now you're a national security threat. When you're an innocent American and you're being murdered for no reason. And, you know, it's experimentation, but it's a lot of things. It's too many things to work. It's too many things for our society down here to learn anything about the brain. When you got psychopaths behind the equipment and their brains aren't being looked at, and then you've got innocent people, right? Like me and you, we're being called psychopaths and terrorists. Then they're mapping the brain and they're going, oh, map of the brain, and this is a psychopath terrorist when it's a normal citizen, right? Then we've got a problem with what we're learning when we're mapping the brains. And it completely doesn't need to be done with cruel torture and everything. You can map brains and do all this voluntarily. But what the evil people, the globalists at the top, the Bolsheviks at the top, they're making it so none of these people doing it are learning anything. And it's not going to advance our societies any. They can gobble up the data, put it in servers, and then roll it back on us in the form of bioweapons and things like that, and more knowledge about how to mind control us, right? We're in a dangerous time. We need to speak out about these things, but it's so deadly. Like I'm sitting here going after this. Like if I don't make it, and I totally believe in God. Like I'll be helping you guys. Like if I'm up in the ether, my soul, wherever I go, first of all, I want to help y'all. First of all, I have unfinished business on this earth, and God knows that. He's given me some. I watched man. Like it's like I'd be like feeling like I was just about to die, like I had nothing left. I regenerate, right? I regenerate, but it's like the universe like started putting stuff in front of me. It wasn't my attackers, but like Ghost Rider and the Crow and stuff. And I know those things like in a Christian thing, it's like, oh, that's kind of satanic, but I don't see them that way. And God doesn't convey things like when I see things, like I'll take it in a divine light way. Like even like Ghost Rider, like I don't make a deal with the devil, but God gives me strength, you know, to get through it, to burn, but still to rejuvenate, to regenerate. I mean, it's a movie, right? But I live through metaphor. I find so much strength through metaphor, and I'll tell you this much: there's a woman on the V2K. There's a man. There's like two. I think there's two shifts of two, maybe, or two shifts of three. But the psychopathic guys who take care of the murder and they don't really understand the mind, they're very literal. Like psychopaths are so literal. So when I'm like watching Ghost Rider, I'm like I watched this thing. You know the Assassin's Creed video games, and there's like one Assassin's Creed 3. It's like a Native American who has to fight in the Revolutionary War, right? And I watched this songs and videos to kind of pump myself up. He's like, oh my God, he's gonna fucking start a revolution and do some real violence. The woman on the thing is like, he's thinking in metaphor. I think the psychopaths figure it out, but they just use it anyway. You know, when you're an imaginative, creative person and you're looking at art, they can take the things that you're like, if you watch a violent movie They can take that and just go, oh, he's gonna fucking do something violent, and they can that's legitimate for in their system. He's watching a movie with a gun in it. He's gonna go out and shoot people. Like that's they can do that. They can just do that. Like they can. So it's arbitrary. So anybody that they hook into can be evil because you'll watch a movie where evil is being done, like a zombie's getting shot or something. That means you're gonna go shoot somebody. So this is off the chain, off the reservation, right? Way off the reservation. I want to get out of the country. Like I'm trying to find a way to get my mom, like to talk her into, but I've got to work through the mind control that she's in. And that's like I'm kind of just, I got help with getting this computer and stuff. I'm not going to help myself by making these videos. And I was hesitating a little bit, thinking I got to wear these biometrics down, but it's taken too long. It's like I'm wearing them down, but it's so absurd and bizarre, like how long it's taking and how no doctors will tell me exactly where they are. There's some like NLP people and agents that'll watch this video and they know like where our bio they know like they're informed of like exactly where our weapons that are killing us in our body are. And I've had some hints, and I appreciate those. I've had some people. It's so weird. I don't want to like, cause I know a lot of targeting don't these murders, blah blah blah. But we've got to realize there are human beings that are doing this shit, right? Just like in any society. And I'm not going to say that I'll just Nazi society. Blah, blah, blah. We were lied to about a lot of things. We're really lied to about a lot of things about how World War II went down, how World War One went down, the amount of killing and who it was done to. Um, I'm not going to get into that. It's impossible. It's impossible. Like the way that we've been lied to and the way that society's been set up. Like if you tell the truth, you're not politically correct. You're like really you're like racist and bad and stuff like that. So they've really got us cornered. Just like this targeting, like the human species and our civilization. It's like, oh my God, I'm being microwave death and I really need a lot of help. But if I say anything about it, I'm insane and people will treat me bad. They get you in a corner, right? They get ahead of us. They get ahead of our perception management, and that's David Icke says that a lot. It's all about perception. It's not about intelligence, because I'm not that smart. Like I had a 140 IQ at one time. I'm not sure what it is now. I'm sure if they tested me, I'd test like Forrest Gump or some crap. I'm joking, but it's like, oh God, they wiped my brain. He said he had to the V2K. He was like, I have to, and then I just forgot everything I was saying. So that's another uh, the memory dissolution is really bad. It does stuff to the time to like when and I'll have some days where they're not too focused on messing with my memory and time will go by in a normal fashion and I feel like the day just I'm like, oh, I've had a long day, that's great. Well, not great because you're being tortured, but it's like you find things, like you find joy. Man, it's necessary for this targeting and murder. You got to understand your hardware, and you got to understand you got a modem. You got an organic modem. It's more than just your pineal gland and your DNA. There's things that I don't understand about it, but these things get. This is the cool thing. Let me tell you some cool. Let me tell you a cool positive thing instead of going on about like how bad society is because we all know it. None of us can deal with it. Like I'm not even in a spot where I can mentally deal with how bad things are, and I've been brutally murdered for like years. So these boomers, what the fuck chance do they have? Um, but this is a cool thing. Oh man, they're making me forget. So it's about an hour, and they started doing that. Crap. Um, Man, I forgot. It was so good. I'm coming up to about an hour, guys. This is good. This is good. This not 15 minutes thing. That was really conditioning me. And I just like I'd have to say things really quick and it just wasn't working right. This'll do. This'll do good. I might die. So if I'm gonna try and get it to where I'm putting out some information that if they kill me y'all all be looking here, right? And what I'm saying will be proved, right? I also want to, I don't know, I don't want to scare my mom. I'm trying to find ways to talk to her because
she's being targeted, my dad's being targeted at the end of their lives when they work so hard. And this stuff can really, the mind is like everything. You can be in a bad situation, but if you got the right chemicals and the right perception, things aren't that bad, right? And if you have God too, then it's like really doable. I don't see a way here. Like, I mean, I don't see strategies, right? Because everything's so crazy, but I know God's with us. And I know if we just keep following and keep just let his strength lead us and his light lead us, that humanity will survive. And I know that even if you die, you do go on. It's scientific. Like some of this bad stuff, right? It's so bad in the directed energy scientific, how it messes with our brain and our nervous system, but it's taught me if then therefore, right? There's a lot of if then therefore that's like, holy crap, the other side, what we already were is amazing. We are already hardware with modems, and this is it. This is it. This I got back to. Uh, when my attackers, they interfere, right? They're interfering. They're pumping directed energy through me. It's messing up my brain, my pineal gland. It's messing up the way that you get your resonance high and you connect with God. That's how you connect. But God's showing me that even when that happens, when that's broken, He's coming through reality. Like He's coming through other things. Like he's like, this had to happen. You had to break. You had to be one of the ones. It's almost like this, and I know this sounds crazy, and these are things I can't prove. I just feel them spiritually, that I was a sleeper, that I was an agent for God, that they attacked me, but I was here for a reason. It happened to me for a reason. Now, I know that some grounded secular people will be like, you're just trying to justify things. You're trying to put a silver lining on things. Let me tell you, you're halfway right. You're halfway right. And when you do that, you grab and you reach towards something that's real. Please remember that if you're, because really grounded people, I want to speak to them. Some of you spiritual people, your feet are already off the ground, and I tell you things and you're like, I thought that. And I can feel it, and I've had conversations with you guys. Some of you grounded people, that's who I really want to focus on. Y'all help me, and I want to help y'all, and it's hard for y'all. And God's like, one of my best friends who's targeted, he's real grounded. He's real religious, but he's real grounded. And it's like God says, tell him this. You need to tell him this. I need him to know this. I need him to know it scientifically. And I think we're coming up to a part. Let me say it in general to end this video. Um, we're coming up to a time where our physicality, our groundedness, what we've been dealing with, is being tested. It's being tested, and we have to move further. The evil people have power they tap into, that they can scientifically prove and spread about with Satan, what Satan gives them, right? Now, there's a concrete scientific other side of this. Our creator, I say creators because there's a chain of creation. I'll just say angels in the name of Jesus Christ. There's a God above all, Jesus Christ, but there's a chain of creation where we have mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters that created us. I don't know if they went out of this universe or they're still in it, but there's a reason for this, and they're connected to us scientifically. And this bad stuff, this ultimate, I'm being attacked by the world since my birth, being targeted and everything, it led me to that, if then, therefore, and them flowing into my reality right when I was attacked. They came in, they said, we're gonna balance this. Now they have, but being murdered every day, being microwaved, your brain being cooked, the body, there's physics, there's gravity in the world. And God can pump in power, he can do anything, he can change reality. He can change reality, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if my body's supposed to die. I'm not sure what's gonna happen, but I am what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna make some videos. And so I'm gonna make some videos, and if they kill me, then what I'm saying, y'all can take it further. That's hard. I want to have a family. Like I had relationships in my life, but they were all messed up by mind control. I didn't know. Like I didn't, and I look back on some of them, and I was like, I was gonna get married at one point, and the pain was so bad. I thought it was my Crohn's disease, and she ended up, we were young, and she didn't want to, it was just too tough. But so I want that stuff. That's kind of what keeps me. It kept me. I was like, I've spoken out a lot and I've gone through a lot. I want to get this done. I want to maybe just go off because it's so big and God's gonna have to take care of it. But whatever happens, I think that my nature is, and I'm gonna make a video about this. But the tale of the manatee, the warning of the manatee. The manatee, and I'm going to make another video on this, but it's about evolution. And sometimes when you try and go backwards, it really hurts you. And you just got to push forward. And God's going to take care of, if I'm supposed to have a wife, if I'm supposed to have that stuff, God will provide it. But I can't. I've been, so hurt and so it's too much, and I've been backing up to try and protect my family, to try and figure out how I can protect the people closest to me, because I'm like, putting these videos out, it helps you guys, but it's massive. This is something that's like, it's already an open secret, like Havana syndrome. I don't even know what the hell's going on. They just drop stuff like that. The mainstream media just drops it like it doesn't exist, and then it seems to really create the reality that it doesn't exist in society. It doesn't, but in people's heads, right? The topic is just done, and then people kind of move off to other things when we have priorities. We have bioweapons or prior. Oh crap! Am I going to be able to put this on YouTube? Crap! You're not supposed to say bioweapon. I don't think I can put this one on you because I said torture and stuff like that. If you ever say anything about the violence being done to you, it's censored because they don't want people to know that we're being tortured and killed in our homes and stuff in America, in every country. All right, guys. I hope this was in some ways lucid. I am going through a lot of pain, and they are messing with my brain. But I have a crazy quality that I've had my whole life. That I feel like that's kind of like God's saying that I'm asleep. He's telling me. He's like, I'm sorry, but the way that what's happening to humanity, this had to happen to you, and I needed you there, and I'm going to give you as much power. And I don't know. He's like, he can't tell me exactly what's going to happen because that's life. If you're told exactly what's going to happen, it doesn't go down. Uh, but I don't know. I feel like I could get through this, or I might die because I have to go to sleep. I have to go to sleep. That's the major thing. I stayed up for 2 days. I've never stayed. I'm not one of those people that like stayed up 3 days or anything. I can't do it. Like my body and my brain can't function. I get too grumpy, and I have to like sleep at least every like 1.5 days. But I ended up staying up like I think it was like 2.5 days, and I think it was like sleep deprivation. They wanted to do stuff, but it was also part of me was like I really don't want to go to sleep because the guy doesn't see it as cowardice to work on me in my sleep. When it's time to do the science, if he's doing something very, very grotesque, he's a scientist, right? But if he's doing something, I don't know, it's like he can be a killer or a scientist, and he can kind of switch those so that he doesn't have to say murdering an American in their sleep is cowardice, right? It's a very wearing a lot of hats, so he doesn't have to say, "Well, I'm killing an innocent family, like, and I'm murdering this guy who didn't do anything in his sleep. I'm a coward," right? It's scientific, it's important, it needs to be done. And they do say that on the V2K. I'm not in agreement with that at all because I'm smart and I know science, and this is bullshit. This is retardation. This is retardation. It's going to invert our thinking because they're attacking innocent people, false flagging them, mapping the brain, and then matching and going, these are crazy people. While the crazy psychopaths are using the equipment and they're not mapping their brains to show us the dangers in society. This is backwards knowledge of the brain. For people lower down, now the people higher up are gobbling up all the data, right? The big businesses and the cabal at the top, they're gobbling it all up. All right, guys, I think that's about it. I've been going for about an hour. This I actually I've skipped my therapy session. Like I was gonna try and work with this guy because I do have to get some medications to like Ativan and Neurontin to kind of balance this down when it gets too bad in my body. Missed one of those. I think I subconsciously missed it because it's like, what do you say to someone? Like I'm being murdered. It's not anything like mental illness. It's nothing. It's not even close. It's like, look, this, like, and if I just leave it alone, like I can kind of, but it's like whatever. It's like in my clavicle, I have leads over here, and they'll just, and I think from a lot of places they go to that left side up there, and I'll feel this like stimulation behind the ear. And I was even thinking like, Dr. Horton was like, oh, if you have V2K, you may have implants that were put in your ears. And I was like, oh, this poor Dr. Horton doesn't know what she's talking about. But as I learned more about this and the biometrics, I'm like, I could have an implant in the ear. That Dr. Hoffer, when he did the thing to look into my ears, he did it so weird. I told you guys about it. He like didn't look in them. Like he didn't want to look in the ears. He like put it there and he didn't like look in the ears. Like almost like he knew. So like this, the left side, I'm questioning because it seems like it's really powerful over here. But I'm like, could it just be that powerful running up there from like the sternum or the shoulder? Because I don't know what the biometrics would look like. They're powerful as shit though. Like it's like it feels like it's ripping up my muscles and crap, and pulling, right? Like pulling. So it's not anything like mental illness. But the problem with our society nowadays is the individual is not believed. Like the system is the winner, right? Or I don't know, you don't want to call it a winner, but the system says what's happening. And if you're an individual that disagrees with the system, like in communism, in Bolshevism, in evil satanic society, the individual is not trusted. So you can go into a doctor and you can be like, this is not anything like mental illness. Like this stuff that's stimulating up my chest, it's cooking me. Like it's cooking my insides and my shoulder, and I feel it, and it hurts. And I know, like I have scars. I have scars. You can see them through the freckles. Like I have freckles on my shoulder, and you can see the scars. And what they did is they cauterized them. They didn't cut open. They did the leads, but they put heat on it so that it would be hidden on the skin. Like either when I was in Ochsner or in 2009 or in both times they did, maybe the top ones at Ochsner and then some of the bottom ones. I do think that all the leads were done in 2009 by the stomach doctor. Um, I do think that, but I think I had biometrics. I I don't know. I think they were upper. I think they were upper, and I think he put a huge one in my stomach. Like he put a huge one like up under my sternum, like the left side of my sternum. It's like it'll cook my legs. Like I'll put the magnet on there, and my stomach will start going. It'll start gurgling, and I'll feel my legs getting cool, like and my arms cooling down. But they move over to another biometric, right? And then I don't know how much is external. All right, like I'm at an hour and something. I've been babbling. I wanted to babble. I wanted to babble. I hope I said some important things that you can use. I get worried about saying detailed stuff so your attackers get an idea. And I really wanted my attackers and us to somehow neutralize this and them to pull off, and because I'm not dangerous or violent, and they've been making so much money off me for so long. And then I could get on the videos and just be like, yeah, my attacker, like, because the dude could murder me at any time, and he's like saying something like it's embarrassing not to control the target, but he's just got his team, he's got women on his team, and they're like, well, I don't want to kill somebody. Like it's weird, it's fucking weird. And I'm like, where are the protocols here? Maybe it's a psyop. Maybe the protocols are all set and they're just tricking me the whole way through. But it's a good trick. It's a long time, and it's building on real things. It's like mixing in what they really think into the chatterbox so that it's really what they said, but then it's put into a psyop. So it's really muddied waters, right? It's hard to tell what's real and what's fake, but I know there are people that like maybe they microwave somebody for a couple of years, but then it gets to be like a decade, and then it gets kind of like where my body can't work anymore, and it's maybe going a little bit too much. I don't know. It's so weird, right? We're in unprecedented territory. Let me leave it with this. We're in unprecedented evil. I know it's scary. I know it's scary, guys. There's unprecedented good that we are going to discover. It's what I think that I'm here for. They might kill me, but it's what I think I'm here for. There's scientific connection. You are hardware. You are a modem. You have modems in you. And if God can't get to you, if you're so smashed up that your body's interfered with and you feel like you're not getting that energy, that that spiritual connection with God, He'll come through in other ways. You just gotta believe. You gotta ask for God. Come on, I, like I'm getting interfered with, right? And I don't feel your presence. Please show your presence. He controls all of reality. A good, good God who loves us. These are our predators. I don't understand how this situation occurred, but God told my heart. He's like, you'll understand when you get up here. It's not a game. He's like, it's not a game. It's necessary. One little angle that I got was a baby bird. The mom leaves the nest, and the baby birds have to fly, and sometimes they fall, and foxes get them and stuff like that. I don't understand why nature's so cruel sometimes. Our predators are pumping up the cruelty, for human beings. They're pumping it up. But I feel, but listen to me here. God's gonna pump up the other side. He does it to me. This is a beautiful life, even though I'm destroyed right now, right? Destroyed right now. Jesus Christ. We got to look at Jesus Christ in the name of Jesus Christ. Look at his life and what he showed us about when he connects with God, what happens. He defeated death, right? Jesus Christ defeated death. And that's a very important message. Whether or not you believe Jesus Christ is literal, it's a very important thing about us. Okay? So, in the name of Jesus Christ, I know this is bad, and I'm going to try and get, because I'm dying. I know that I'm usually very, I don't want to go into all that. I'll talk to you guys soon. If I don't make it through, I want to put out some information so that it'll be out and it will prove, what's going on. I love you guys. Stay strong. Stay strong. Miracles are coming. Miracles have happened the whole time. For me, even though I'm being murdered every day, you'd think immediately like God's not helping. You're being murdered that's people. They're doing this. Like this an artificial murder of me. It's not God's choice. It's free will. And our predators on earth use people's free will to hurt us, right? Like that movie, I won't go into that. I love you guys. Just God bless you and God bless your families. I think they push me the brain. It's the brain, like the body mutilation stuff, the body stimulation. Let me tone it down a bit. It's not to be toned down, but I need to just do it anyway. I want to explain how serious this is, but I also want to kind of neutralize things and we don't need to be fearful even with some serious stuff, right? Even with some serious stuff. We got some real stuff coming from the other side. I love you guys, and I will definitely see you on the next